All right, it's chip of the day, actually chips of the day. We're going to do a 11, 12, and a 23. The CD4011, 4012, and 4023. These are all NAND gates. We have a quad 2-input NAND gate. We have a dual 4-input NAND gate. And we have a tri 3-input NAND gate. Okay, so 11, 12, 23. All right. And I happen to have bags of them. All right. So the 4011, I'm pretty sure showed in one of my videos once upon a time. It's just a quad NAND gate. So these are very, very common things. This is like a 7400 part, right? So these are used all the time when you need CMOS. But the other ones are pretty interesting. We have the quad and the triple. Kind of like the triple. Let's do that one. So this is the 4023. I don't know if you will see many of those in circuits, but if you need three 3-input gates, this would be your choice. And these also just have the HP part number. They don't have the 4023 on them. These are an 1820-0943. All right, so let's see if they are what they say they are. Put them in my tester here. Turn it on and do a search. There it is. 40. Oop, you didn't see it. I'll do it again. Open it up. We'll do it. Yeah, not found. We'll close the little latch there. Push the button. 4023. So yes, indeed. Even though it just has an HP part number on it. Like I've said in the other videos I've done on these parts, I got a bunch of 4000 series parts that came out of a extinct HP stockroom. It was going in the trash can, and now it's in my possession. So let's go ahead and hook one up, see if it actually works. All right, here we go. Let's see here. We need some power. Let's hook up some power. And yeah, there we go. So it is a something not making good contact somewhere. Here we go. So it is a 3-input AND gate. So NAND gate. So we need them all high. So we need a high to make that turn off. So the third input is actually this one here. So let's tie it high. So I'm hooking up this one here. So I've got switches on D and E, and I've just tied F high. Now when I press one of these, nothing happens. I press the other one, nothing happens. When I press both of them, nothing happens. Well, that's odd. High. What is going on? High. Oh, yeah. Never mind, idiot. I put the part in backwards. We'll throw him in the trash can. We'll get out another one. Rookie mistake. All right. Now on these parts, there is a little dot that shows you pin 1, and there's also a little notch at the top that shows you pin 1. So they're doubly idiot proof, but not enough for this idiot. Nope. Let's put him back in the right way. Yeah, there we go. All right, try it again. Okay, he's on. So that one doesn't do anything. That one doesn't do anything. When I press them both down, it goes out. Yay, it worked. It worked. The logic works. Okay, I thought we would use this one to explain one other issue. So let's see if we can't do that in this situation. Let me rearrange things a bit. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the current draw of this circuit, okay? I have a current meter in the ground leg of this circuit, so let's turn this up a bit. All right, so currently we're drawing 5 milliamps, but we have an LED that's on, so I'm going to remove the LED. And so that's actually what the circuit is drawing, okay? 0.001 milliamps. Now, what I want to demonstrate today is, hopefully this will work. Let's go back over here. So in CMOS parts, if you have an unused pin, you must tie it either high or low. You don't want them floating around. In TTL, you can get away with it. TTL usually has a pull-up resistor somewhere in the package, so you can leave inputs floating. But on CMOS, you cannot. And I want to demonstrate why you cannot with this part. So I have everybody tied down. Everybody's tied down. These are tied to ground. These are tied to ground. All the unused pins are now tied to ground through a 10K resistor. Not that that matters. But let's go ahead and change the camera again so you guys can see. That's the quiescent current of the thing, okay? And if it's actually on, and I press both buttons, you say, oh, look, the current went up. No, that's because my circuit has pull down resistors, but I'm tying them. When I press this, they go to 5 volts, but that 5 volts goes through the 10K resistor. So you actually have the resistors themselves that are doing something, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove a wire from one of the inputs, okay? And you see that nothing has happened at all right? And that input pin, okay, I'm going to allow to be floating, and you can see that it is jumping around, and depending on what kind of stray currents and stuff you might see, we have extra current being drawn. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the worst case, okay? And so the worst case is, what if you tied the pin to half of VCC? Okay, so let me remove this. Let's see, no, I actually need that one. I'll put this one over here. I'm gonna put that one here like it was. Okay, this is our floating pin right now, all right? And I'm going to take a couple other resistors here. Let's get them going. All right, so I have 10K resistors. I'm going to have that one go to ground. I'm going to have this one go to VCC. And I'm going to tie them together. So now it's going to be half of VCC right there. And I'm going to put that input to half of VCC. And our part is now drawing 0.4 milliamps. So not a good thing to have your CMOS halfway done. And let's kind of take a look at the data sheet and then I'll explain why this happens. Okay, this is the part that we're using. It is a 3 input, and the De Morgan equivalent is this. We have a not, we go into a NOR gate, and then we have a not on the output. So this is actually, turns this into a NAND gate, right? A not, it'll be a not, and NAND gate, and then this turns into a not, AND gate. And yeah, so, and on the input, it'll be an actual AND gate, right? Because this not and this not will negate each other, so you'll have a triple input NAND gate. All right, so anyway, that's what's going on here. And you can see it in the diagram here. So if we just take a look at, let me get something to hide part of the circuit here. All right. And so we have, this is just a push-pull. So if it's high, it pulls low. If it's low, it pulls high. So this is an inverter, okay? And so we have an inverter here, we have an inverter here, we have an inverter here. So these three things are these three things, okay? So these three inverters are invert, 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 okay? And then we have something down here, which is the OR function, or this, or this, or this pulls it down. And then we have an AND function, this and this must be high. And then on the output, we just have another inverter. Remember, we just have another inverter. So that's what this one does, it's just another inverter. Well, let's just take a look at this output. If we have this at the halfway point, it means this transistor is on and this transistor is on, both at the same time. They both will conduct current. Now these can only conduct a certain amount of current, 0.5 milliamp, but actually it's probably one of these is halfway. So this is halfway, and then this is halfway, and maybe something else is there in halfway. Anyway, we get a big current problem, okay? And that's what happens when you don't tie things correctly. All right, there we go, chips of the day. We had a 4011, a 4012, and a 4023 is the one that we actually played with today. So they are all NAND gates. We got the quad dual, the dual quad, and the triple triple.